is a place very far from this world, and the only way you can get there is through music. Remember, only music can set you free and fill you with energy to life. Be prepared for a new music transformation, and in a moment you will be transported to this place. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, please
welcome to Steel Savage Radio's 2018 Dirty Tires Racing Season with the Navajo Rambo Bobby Steele and high-flying Jason Grady. Only on the station that rocks the nation, Steel Savage Radio. SSR, baby!
Start your engines, brothers!
Stations are tuned in too.
Steel Savage Radio. Steel Savage Radio.
All right, guys, we're back live here on 30 Tires Racing with the Navajo Rambo Bobby Steele. And we got Stevie Slater on the line here. Hopefully we get this all figured out here right now. What's up, Stevie?
Hey.
All right.
Hopefully I got my antennas right.
All right. Now are you sitting at the end of the van? Wow, man. You know, it never fails on it. Never fails, man. Me and Robbie, I think we jinxed our whole show because of that. You know, we always say, man, you know what, this happened. Man, you know what, this happened. Now it's happening all the time. But you know what?
Right.
When it's live radio, man, I mean, there's some stuff that you just can't control, man.
Yeah, no kidding.
But you know, we were talking about the general knowledge, the audience out there not knowing what dirt track racing is, and it's a surprise, and it surprised me. You know, going through Oklahoma there, that you would think, you know, a state there right in the middle of the heartland, not right in the middle of heartland, but on the outside would know what dirt track racing is.
Yeah, you would think, but I just don't really understand what the deal is about that. And we've said numerous times to people like, hey, if you've never been to a racetrack before, come on up here, let me know. We'll get you a couple tickets, and once you go once, you'll want to keep coming back.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. You know what? Because that's the thing about dirt track racing is it's it's addictive there. Because once you go that one time, what's going to bring you back is the speed, but especially the sound. I mean, there's nothing like, watching a main event there, have the modifieds drive by rumbling, or the sprint car driving by rumbling there. Just when they're getting lined up there, the whole stands, they rumble. And then when that green flag drops down, man, you feel the power of the cars.
Yeah, it's a really great feeling. I always enjoy it. To see, as soon as they start playing the national anthem, my hair just stands up. It's just something that is hard to explain unless you actually been to it.
For sure, yeah. I mean, I remember, see, I always thought dirt track racing was a part of life there, because my dad raced, and from when I was a little kid there, and I always remember going to the track there, and then when I got to middle school and high school, then he stopped racing and stuff like that there. So then I was away from dirt track race for almost 20 years. And just barely came back to it 5 years ago. So, but I remember, always playing with the kids, at the stands, running around with them and everything like that. So I thought it was part of life for a lot of people there. But I didn't realize that at that time it was kind of, because it was huge. Nowadays, it's not really like that anymore.
Yeah, it's kind of a trend that I've seen for years. I've been around it all my life, and my dad's raced for a long time. It's been in our family since the '60s, to be honest with you. And Dad and I talked about this several times. You said you'll see a trend where it'll be quite a bit, then it'll go down, then it'll go quite a bit, then it'll go down. But I have to agree, it's not like it used to be. They used to have 2 or 3 classes out there every night, and when they had the classes out there, it was so jam packed they didn't even have room for the trucks, to pull the cars in. Yeah. You had to pull the car in. That was it. You go drop your car off, you go back out, and you go in stands and shoulder to shoulder. But the whole reason why I started this whole promoting deal last year is just to try to bring it back to life, and then I share it to other places. Not just share it to numerous racing sites, but I also share it to your local places around here. That way they know what's going on.
For sure, for sure. You know what? Let's go ahead and start from the beginning here, Steve. Or Stevie, I should say, right? Because that's a little... Is that too formal, Steve?
Well,
I'm sure there's a story behind there, right?
Steve's my dad, and we always called me Stevie, so that's what that came from.
Oh, okay. Isn't that the knight in shining armor thing? Because earlier I referenced, I said, yeah, Stevie. I go, Steve is the knight in shining armor type of name. And then you got Stevie, which sounds like the guy across the street who never brings back your lawnmower.
Yeah, I got my own lawnmower.
So Stevie, man, how did you get into this whole racing thing? You said from the '60s.
Well, my grandfather, he owned a car, and my uncle drove it for a while back in the '60s. And then the next person in line was my dad. He started racing, and I think his first race car was a '55 Chevy. And I believe he told me he was racing in Enid, just right northwest from where we lived, and raced there for a while. I know he's traveled around a little bit, and then I've started racing karts back in the '90s, and then after that I started racing junior mini stocks. Then we moved up to street stocks, and then we went to sport mods. And right now, my son, he started racing a few years ago. He's a heck of a wheel man. He's won a couple championships already. Last year, he had the Outlaw cart. He won 9 out of 11 races. So we just can't wait till we put him in one of these cars. And next year, he's planning on going ahead and racing that my car that I had. And we had a good friend of ours, David Gibbons, has been racing the car since last year, and I think he's going to maybe run one or two more times this year, and we're going to tear the car down and get it all ready for my boy.
Oh, man. You know what? How does that feel, man? Just knowing that, your son's going to be holding up the Slater name there and racing, man, because I'm pretty sure you're already thinking about championships. You're already thinking about, waving that checkered flag and taking the picture, photobombing him in the back there.
Well, we had a race back in January before we sold the carts, and it was actually on live pay-per-view, and he actually won the feature out there, and I was so thrilled and I went out there and I ran out there in the middle of the track, and he was doing the interview, and I had tears rolling down my eyes.
Oh, man.
And I'm super proud of him. And that was kind of another reason why I started this whole promoting deal. That way I can kind of set my stuff to the side and let him actually do the racing. But I still want to be involved with it myself. So last April, I started the Sooner Limited Modified Series. And it's hit off really well. We actually doubled from what we had last year as far as the drivers that ran with us. And, for a while, our average car count this year has been 26 cars, and that's not too bad for a traveling series.
Now, is that 26 cars just for that, let's say for one race, and you still got other divisions?
Yeah, there's other divisions that race with us, and, we just
that's a lot. Wow, that's good.
Yeah, I was super excited about how they've been doing. I think we had a little over 160 drivers that's raced with us this year.
Wow, man. That's what we need out here, man. That's definitely what we need out here in the Southwest.
We had one race here a while back. I think we had 45 or 40-something cars.
Holy cow.
That was a pretty exciting night.
I can't even count to 40, what do you say, 45?
Yeah, around 45
See,
to 47
I can't even count
cars.
that high. 40 No, seriously, but 47, that's a lot of cars, man.
So, yeah, I was pretty excited about that. That was against the B-Mods that night. And then we had a B-Mod challenge on the Friday night, and we had another one on Saturday night. It was at a Humboldt on Friday, and Saturday was at Caney Valley. Then we got another B-Mod challenge coming up September 29th. And that's going to be Salina High Banks. And this weekend we have just a regular show at Elk City. And hopefully the rain won't wash us out. You've been fighting rain over where you're at, but I think it's headed this direction.
Yeah, I think it is. It's by the time it gets there, man, this should be actual average rain for you guys. I think average rain for you guys is like a hurricane for us over here, dude. I'm serious.
Well, they're saying record rainfall this weekend, and
man, yeah. That means they're floating.
Yeah, I don't like saying that R word. It's a bad word in my books.
Oh my gosh! A real quick story, man. You know what? I thought I've been through hard rain before, and I drove through Oklahoma like 10 years ago, and I drove through there, and the clouds are dark and everything like that, and it started raining, and I'm worried about tornado. That's the first thing I said: a tornado. Oh man, tornado. I didn't realize how much the rain starts off, and then it gets so hard you can't see the front of your vehicle. You can't. When you put your hand outside, you can't even see your hand. I was like, whoa, and the truck started hydroplaning on the road there, and I was wondering why people were pulled over, and I couldn't drive. I couldn't drive at all because I would probably went to the middle median there, so I ended up pulling over myself. But yeah, if you've never been through Oklahoma rain, that is one bad mother.
Yeah, we've been having some pretty weird weather, actually. Our summertime this year haven't been really that hot. We have a lot more rain than usual. Been pretty fortunate as far as the rainouts. We haven't had any.
Last year we had a lot of rainouts over here in Albuquerque, New Mexico at Sandia Speedway there. So when you guys get the rain there, do you guys try to wait it out too as well and end up racing, or do you guys have to cancel it and reschedule, or do you guys race the very next day?
Well, like the last time we was in Elk City, we were we knew we had rain coming. I think it was like a mile east of us at the racetrack. It was two inches of rain, and a mile west of us was 1 inch of rain. But we didn't need maybe a sprinkle over at the racetrack. But it made people nervous, and they all decided to stay home or go to a different track or whatever. But most of the time, if we get rain, if we get it early enough, we try to pack it in and try to go ahead and try to make a race out of it, because that's what we want to go do. We're already there. We might as well go see what we can get.
Heck yeah. It's kind of crazy. When you guys are trying to race, in the rain or wait out the rain, and you look up in the stands, there's those crazy fans that all follow you guys everywhere, and I'm one of them there. I mean, this sport stays in your blood. You think about it all the time. I mean, I don't even race, but I think about it. I think about going, we're going to be heading up to Utah, to Price, Utah next week there, and I can't wait to go over there because I've never been to that track. And but even though that we don't race, but for us fans, we think about it. We dream about it too.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about the rain, and there's been other times where I've actually raced and it started snowing.
Wow, yeah, that's what I'm talking about, man. That's some reservation stuff there.
And it's cold, and it freezes up your shield, and you're trying to crack it open so you can see what you're doing, but you never know. But you just we had an indoor race with my son one year, and we went and bought a canopy at Walmart. Then there's some sides you can buy for it, and there's you Velcro the sides on.
Yeah.
Then we put a patio heater inside, and that's where we kept the car, and we're all standing over working on the car while we're waiting on the feature. It was like 15 degrees outside, and I can tell you one thing: a 125 two-stroke doesn't run very good when it's cold.
Well, I think a lot of people don't know that the Oklahoma area, that Texas area, all of that area there, when it snows, you guys get hit pretty good, man. I mean, it snows over there because there's nothing falling, right? Because there's no trees, really, no trees.
We get really more ice than snow.
I would say ice, yeah.
And we don't get. I don't think last year we may have a really small snow, but we mostly get ice, and we have really bad ice storms. And it's not fun.
Bad. Well, what is like an ice storm, man? Because over here, when we get snow, it's actual snow, but we don't get too much ice. Just on the road.
Yeah. It's good, wet, good snow, and over here it's not.
I see pictures where people throw water out and then it just freezes up to ice and turns into snow or something like that, man. That's crazy.
Right.
That's crazy. Well, let's go back from the beginning here. Who got you into racing? I know that you're part of a generation of racing there, but who actually got you into racing?
Well, I will say is both my mom and my dad. They was there right from the beginning, and they're still here doing it and helping me and helping my boy. And if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be where I am now.
Does mom go in there and get her hands dirty too?
No, but she goes out there and cheers for me and cheers for my boy or whatever. But I've been pretty fortunate. My dad's got a lot of knowledge, and he's got an automotive machine shop over here in Guthrie, and I've got everything I need. It's kind of like I told my son. I said, everything that you need for a race car is sitting over there. You can build one from ground up.
Wow. And not a lot of people can say that. Not a lot of people can say that at all. That's awesome. I swear, man. I mean, just to even think about it gives me chills.
Yeah, I mean, my boy actually went over to my dad's shop this summer, and he went over there and helped him do some motor work and stuff like that, and try to learn that field. And that's a good field to know. And here about 3 years ago or so, I think my boy and I actually built the body for that car that we was driving. So he's been around it, and he's going to know everything he needs to know. Because I told him, I said, the best thing to learn about a car is go work on it yourself.
Yes.
If there's a problem with the car, if you say, I don't know, the car just loose, well, you can just go. You can figure out what it is.
Yes.
And it can help communicate against him and I to figure out what the problem is.
Yes. Now, what's the biggest piece of advice? Because you know what, there's a lot of father-son teams out there right now. What's the biggest advice you could give to another father-son team out there right now?
Every moment you can with your kid, because that goes back to your father and son. It goes back to the father too. The son needs to spend, or daughter, spend every moment you can with them, because you never know when it's going to be your last day. And it's a family sport, and back in high school, I'm not gonna deny it. I went over and I was a typical teenager and want to go have fun, go play, and do other things.
Yeah.
But then after high school, it's like I just missed 4 or 5 years, or whatever, how many years I skipped out of racing because I want to go, be a typical teenager.
Yeah.
I guarantee it. You're still young. You got plenty of time to grow up. You need to enjoy life when you can.
For sure. You know what? When I didn't keep track with the sport after my dad left there, like I said, it was about 20 years, so I didn't mess around with the sport at all. And I saw all these new names, and I saw how faster and more good-looking these cars got, how bigger the tracks have got, and how much more racing was. And I'm like, man, I missed all of that. So I'm trying to cram like 20 years of history into 5 years, and I'm like, man, I feel bad about missing all of that, but I feel bad because, it's like I missed some of the greats there, some people that I didn't even know about, came and went, within that short period of time.
Yeah, I mean, you can go there and say, hey, I've been racing since, so-and-so time, and if you skip out a couple of years, if you just skip out 1 year and get back in the car, I guarantee you 1 year feels like 5 years behind.
I bet.
It's amazing how much knowledge these people has gotten with these cars. Everybody thinks that dirt racing is a bunch of dumb rednecks, but it's not.
It's not. It's definitely not that. Not at all.
There's a lot of math, and there's a lot of science, and there's a lot of geometry, all that stuff. There's everything you need to know. It's in these cars.
We had a guest named Josh Kane who was on the show, and he was talking about the late models and how he had to do some cutting and welding, on his car, and he was talking about the air velocity and everything like that. But it went over my head, I'm like, wow, I had no idea what he's talking about. I was just agreeing with him, and I'm like, man,
right.
I mean, it just shows you how you really got to think and be on your toes to do that right in between races. Try to because literally, if you cut out a piece of your car there, I mean, you change the whole feel of the car, don't you?
Oh yeah, it's funny because back when my dad raced, you knock the windows out, you put a cage in it. The belts I wouldn't even brag about.
Yeah.
It was, if you wanted 10-inch tires, you cut 2 wheels and you made one out of it. They probably weighed 150 pounds.
Yeah.
And the tubing for the cage was pipe. I mean, it was not tubing; it was pipe from an oil field.
Hey, if you guys know how heavy these pipes are, man, they are probably 30 pounds each, maybe for 8 foot.
Yeah. So, when you compare that to now, is back then, you threw some junk shocks on, you went racing. And now these guys in the Sooner Limited guys, I know they're spending $1,500 to $2,000 on a set of shocks.
Man.
and you better have it, because if you don't have it, you're out there, but you're not out there.
Yeah. There's a lap traffic, right? Basically, because sometimes that the lap traffic gets in the way. I hate to say it, right?
Yeah. But the thing is, everybody out there, I appreciate everybody being out there. I know I've been there. I said from the beginning, I'm a racer. I built the series for the racers, and I know how tough it is to race. I know how much it takes to go out there. I was talking to a guy a couple of days ago, just to have my car loaded up on the trailer, I fire up my truck to get on the road to go racing. That's $200 right there before I even leave the driveway.
Yes.
So I understand everything when people when they get wound up and something happens, and this guy gets spun out or whatever. I understand how you feel, but the key thing that everybody needs to remember: we're all here to have fun. You got to remember we're out here. This is a hobby. We're putting on a show. There's kids out there. There's a whole family out there. Your friends are out there. There's sponsors out there. We're all out there to put on a show, and we're all have a good time.
For sure. And I think, sometimes, in the heat of the moment there, I hate to bring up the Tony Stewart thing. I think the heat of the moment, something like that, kind of just, it gets in the way of what it's really about, about having fun out there. When something like that happens, it kind of just, when I saw that, I'm not a big Tony Stewart fan, just because of, his attitude. Great driver, a completely different person driving, but that's just me, though. But, when I saw that, I was like, oh, my God, of all people, too, I hated to say that, of all people, too. Then you got, the whole racing community divided in two automatically right there, because there's a lot of smoke fans out there right now, it just completely divided. And then, like I said, when I was doing these interviews there before I was going up to Boone there, which I did not make there, we'll get into that a little bit later. But, it just showed me that, that Tony Stewart still is, I shouldn't say poster child. He's the face of racing all around. And that's what people think of right now. And when I was bringing up dirt track racing, when they brought up his name, I was like, man, that's to us in the racing community, we know what's what, but in the general population, that's what they think. So, I don't know I wouldn't know how to change that. I think we need somebody to make a bigger impact on racing to kind of change it where it's at there, because I think a lot of fans got turned off because of that. What are your thoughts?
Well, I don't know if it really kind of turned people's thoughts off. I think distractions in life in general has turned a lot of people off. I mean, if you go walk down the sidewalk, how many people are looking on a cell phone?
Me, because I'm texting you.
Yeah, right. I mean, if you really think about it, there's a lot of distractions. And right now we're in that area where we're trying to figure out what do we need to do next. And this new deal everybody's looking into, I think having this live on the internet is probably a good thing. A lot of people are kind of against it, but I think it's really a good thing because that's where we are now.
Technology, yes, we are. We definitely are.
And you got a guy over here or a kid over here watching it on the internet. They're going to watch it a couple times and they're going to like it, as long as you put on a good show. And then they're going to ask their parents, "Hey, I've been watching this on the internet. Can we go over here to so and so's track and I want to see what it's like. I want to meet this driver I've been watching for a couple, 2-3 times a year or whatever, or a couple times a month. But that's another thing is drivers need to remember where they came from. I know some big name drivers that's in the dirt.
Yes.
That as soon as they get to the track, you never see them out of they got a toter hauler, and they never get out. You see them jump in there, go race their heat race, they jump right back out, and they go back in their toter.
Yep.
They jump right back out of there, go back in their car, they run their feature, and they go right back in their toter.
Fast. You don't even see them get out of the car. It's like they have an elevator underneath.
And you got kids coming, the races are over, and you got kids. Kids are the future of racing. People need to remember this. When you go have a kid go over there, has been rooting for you for 3 or 4 years, and finally got to go see him because he's been, he watches them online, but he's never been to a track close to him. But he finally gets to go to a track close to him. He walks over, and has a picture in his hand and wants them to sign an autograph, and he don't give them the time of moment. What did you just do to that driver? What did you just do to that kid? You know.
Yeah, I mean, you crushed them, and at the same time, you lost a fan there. You lost a fan of dirt track racing, and the parents too, probably, and their friends, because they're gonna let them know. You know, so and so was like this, so and so that. I wouldn't go if I were you. You know, stuff like that.
So that goes back to, we're back to the internet again.
Yep.
Social media. Social media can be a really great thing. I use it a lot with the promoting, but it can be a really bad thing too.
Yes.
So whatever you did out there on a Saturday night, you pissed somebody off.
You're gonna hear about it.
I can almost guarantee you it's going to be on there before you get home.
Before you even get out of the car.
And I've seen it happen. I've seen it's like, hey, I want over to go. My kid want to go get an autograph, and well, it didn't happen. And he moved. Luckily enough, there was another driver over there seen what happened, and he went over there and made sure he's taken care of.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. That's always good to hear that. That's always good for that too as well, because I mean, some of those drivers are who do that. What I've experienced there is a lot of them are out there to race just to race there, but mostly they do it for the fans, just for that moment like that. Because they're out there having fun, but they really want to treat the fans there. Because the fans go there, to watch the race, and like I said, for us, we get really excited just to even go, just to hear the cars go by. But to a driver to acknowledge you, that's even better.
Yeah, it really is. I will say everybody with the Sooner series, with the Sooner Limited Modified series, I can't wait till the other two series I got going for next year. I can't express my feelings how much I appreciate these guys, because they do take care of everybody. They're out there and making sure these kids see their knowledge. We have a little meet and greets every now and then. They're handing out candy. They're handing out flags. They're handing out pictures. And that's really good. That's a really good thing for everybody. And not only that is when we're out there, if we have a 2-night show, if one of the drivers had a bad night, the other driver's over there working on it.
Yeah,
that's what we need to be, and that's what I really enjoy. That's the reason I've been around dirt track racing all my life, because it is, at the end of the day, it's still a family sport, and when, not only we're out there as a series, but we're out there as a family as well.
Yeah, I totally. Now I understand what that really means, because when I used to see drivers not like each other, getting in a fight, blah blah blah, but yeah, they're working on each other's cars, and I'm like, I never understood why, but now I do. We'll talk about that a little bit coming up here, man. Let's go ahead and take a break quick here, guys. We have to pay the bills. We'll be right back. We're live here on Dirty Tires Racing on Steel Savage Radio with Stevie Slater, a.k.a. Steve.
Graphics and Wraps. KFR Graphics and Wraps. KFR Graphics and Wraps. KFR Graphics and Wraps. They can design logos, auto wraps, signs, and much more. Contact them at kfarwraps@gmail.com or give them a call at 970-759-2777. And make sure you check out KFR Graphics and Wraps on Facebook, a family-run and family-owned business.
Graphics and Wraps.
Dirty Tires Racing. Dirty Tires Racing. Racing.
Dirty Tires Racing.
Dirty Tires Racing.
Racing.
Dirty Tires Racing. Dirty Tires Racing. Dirty Tires Racing. Dirty Tires Racing. Dirty Tires Racing.
Dirty Tires Racing.
Dirty
Tires Racing.
Dirty Tires Racing. Dirty Tires Racing. Dirty Tires Racing. All right, guys, we're back here. It's the notorious, the rebellious, the man of the hour. Choose! We do Navajo Rambo Bob still coming at you live, eh? Yeah, we got Mr. Stevie Slater, a.k.a. Steve, on the line from Oklahoma. What's going on, Oklahoma, Stevie?
Well, just like I said, I'm just fighting the allergies right now.
Yeah, we're just talking off the air there, saying that go hurry up, blow your nose, spit it out, do everything you need to do. Because we're going to get to the meat of the conversation here, man. The meat of the conversation here, man, is how did you and why did you come up with Heartland Dirt Racing Management? And give us a little history on that, because watching some of these racing series, going behind the scenes and watching these racetracks operate, going behind the scenes there, it's a lot of work, man.
You know, last year, everybody was talking about, hey, we need a series for the sport mods, or they call them limited modifieds. So that's when last year I started to go ahead with the Sooner Limited Modified series, thinking, hey, I'll take a little break from racing. It won't be that much work doing this. Well, the joke was on me. It's a lot of work being a promoter. But seeing when I get done at the end of the night, and seeing the smiles on the drivers, seeing the smiles on the fans, seeing the smiles on the track promoters, it makes me feel good. And I really enjoy that, and I really enjoy the racing. So this year, I announced that I wanted to do the Tom's North, which is an A-Mod series. There's original Toms down south, started off in Texas, and I talked to him about it, and he's all good with it and thought it was a good idea. So we went ahead and started the Tom's North. Well, being I had the two series together, I thought, hey, I got the Sooner Limited Modifieds, I got the Tom's North. I need to have something that can kind of control both of them. So I came up with the Heartland Dirt Racing Management.
Yes.
Then, that hit off real well, and everybody's all excited about it. And then I had a lot of guys ask me about pure stocks, and of course I kind of, I don't know, let me think about it, and I don't know, it's a lot of work. Then
why the hell not? Let's do it.
Then I kind of looked at some of the tracks, and then, a lot of the tracks, they got all these different rules, and I was like, if we just have one unified rules for all these tracks, it'd make a good idea for these pure stocks. So I ended up with the Western Outlaw Pure Stock Series. Got home that night, looked at my wife, and I said, "Hey, honey, what do you think about having 3 series?" And she said, "What are you talking about?" I said, "Well, I'm thinking about announcing by the end of the week that I want to start this Western Outlaw Pure Stock Series." We're sitting on the back porch, and next thing you know, I see her grab a cigarette and light it. She goes, 3 series, huh? That's all she said.
Did you hear gunshots like this?
Yeah, I said, yeah. She goes, well, okay.
Oh, man.
And I want to thank her for being by my side. She's been there from the beginning, from me racing, from me starting a series. And I have my boy. He's been a hell of a help out there, and he runs around and puts up banners and everything. And he's last weekend started my new schedule. I had to get up at 3 a.m, had to go to work from 4:30 to 3, jump in the car, haul ass to Wichita, get out of the car, hang out the banners, sign everybody in, have a driver's meeting. I actually had a driver's meeting right across the other side of the other side of the track, crawled all the way up to the tower, printed off my lineups, ran back downstairs, and put the lineups less than 15 minutes. Right when they threw the checkered flag, I could feel my whole body just like, yeah, you're done.
And you said you raced through to Wichita? Raced through Wichita? Is that through the infamous state? Well,
I say we raced. We were pushing the limit.
I just keep that. But man, it is a lot of work, dude. You know what? When we started this here, I was telling Pastor Robbie Reckless, and I always say Pastor Robbie Reckless, and everybody kind of says, "Oh, Pastor." Yeah, wait till you hear a show. It's definitely a pastor. Pastor behind the scenes. But no, yeah. So I was telling him, I go, you know what? I go, from what I experienced, this is going to be a little bit of work for us, And I was with another station at the time with WVNM Radio. And, we had some success on that radio station. And I figured, okay, well, you know what? It's time to move on. Let's go ahead. And I'm going to try to do this dirt racing more, And then my partner at the time wanted to do the music more. So, we said, okay, let's go ahead and do that then. So, I call up Robbie, and said, you know what? This is what I want to do. This is what I plan on doing. And let's see how it goes. This is what's going to happen, and this is what's going to happen. So the very first show we did last year was October, and by New Year's, it quadrupled to what we expected. And man, just between me and him, we were trying to cater out to, we were averaging, close to 500 listeners. At that time, it was good. That time we were like, oh my God, 500 listeners. Our first show, we had 100 listeners. We're like, yeah, And then now we're over thousands. Now we're like, holy shit, But I mean, it was just me and him at that time, and now we got Ishiri on board here who helps run the Dirty Tires Racing, and between the three stable ones there, we have other teammates, but of course, everybody does have jobs and they have lives too, So, and to people us who don't have life outside social media, like me and Robbie there, Robbie has a life too, I just let you know that. But, it's a lot of work. You got to literally eat, breathe, sleep this promotion deal because it's not, you can't just take a day off. You never can take a day off from promotions because if you do, you're pretty much gone in the dirt and you're lost there because when you get back, everybody's forgotten about you.
Yeah, that's true. It's the thing about promoting. You're not just contacting one person. You're contacting sponsors. You're contacting track. You're contacting drivers. And you're just constantly contacting people all the time. And it's a lot of work, but it's at the end of the day, it's always worth it.
Oh, for sure, it definitely is. And I think Robbie Reckless could tell you how many times that we've stayed up until 3 or 4 in the morning when we were talking like at 7 a.m. the day before. I mean, it just takes a long time to get all this to go through. But once it starts running, once the machine is oiled and ready to go, gassed up and ready, all you got to do is, keep maintenance, You check the oil, change the oil, put in gas, make sure new tires on there because, we're right about that stage right now where we're about to do that right now. But, when we get people on board to help there, it's very hard to find good help, help that's going to be around for that time. Not judging people, but, because, people don't understand exactly how much work it does take into this.
Yeah, they're just like, oh, I can help you in the races. then, a normal night when we have races, I'll walk between 5 to 10 miles a night.
I bet. I've seen it before. Yes. And I always say, if I could only follow a promoter one night, you would probably have, every single emotion from that person that you'd never seen before happen. In that 2 hours of racing, that 3 hours of racing, they've had the Oscar nominations of any actor or actresses out there right now because you wouldn't believe how many what you guys go through.
Yeah, that's one thing I've taught my son when he's racing. Like, hey, at the end of the night, when you get done racing, I want you to get out of your car. I want you to go to that track promoter. I want you to shake his hand and tell him thank you. Because I guarantee you he'll appreciate it. Because it is a lot of work. But it's still, like I say, at the end of the day, it's always worth it, and I always appreciate it.
Because you get to watch some good racing. At the time, whether you're yelling or not yelling, or laughing or not laughing, or crying, literally crying and not crying, you're still watching those cars. You stop for maybe 10 seconds, turn around, and watch 2 or 3 laps, and you're like, man, that was worth it right there just to watch that one lap. You know what I mean? Because when I always say that because when I was down in Clovis at the High Plains there, I've never been announcing inside the press box there without being enclosed. There was no windows on there, so I didn't realize how louder it is up there than it is down on the bottom. That sound travels up big time.
Yeah, it really does.
I lost my voice after probably like the 3rd heat, and then to make it worse, I sat on the opposite side of where the announcer was at. and in between us with the scorekeepers, they had like 6 scorekeepers, and they're doing it old school. The old school scorekeepers, they got to do it by hand and keep track of each car and everything like that. So the announcer's talking way down on the other side. You got the scorekeepers, all communicating, and you got me over here trying to talk, and then you got the race cars. So by like I said, 3rd heat, 4th heat, my voice was almost gone. And then, they had the big stock car race, too. And that was fun, though, I mean, that was an experience that, I was like, wow. Just when I thought I figured it out the year before, then I go to a not enclosed press box and learn a whole new more. That one track there, I learned so much about, the food marketing as well, because I always thought, okay, well, hamburger, hot dogs, those are good, blah, blah, blah. But when I tasted barbecue over there at High Plains in Clovis, New Mexico there, I was like, bam, wow, now I know why some of these other tracks they bring in the food like that. I never realized it, but now I do. I don't think a lot of people realize that. I don't think any fans realize that, but, I mean, that's what makes them go. I'm pretty sure sometimes people say, hey, let's go to the races there. They got some good chili cheese fries. They got some good barbecue over there, Let's go check it out.
Well, we got one track over here in Oklahoma, Red Dirt. It's over in Meeker, Oklahoma. They're really famous for the street tacos.
Wow, man. That sounds good right there, man.
Maybe that's why I have so many races over here, right?
Yeah, for sure. But, I mean, with this promoting thing, what's one of the biggest obstacles for you, I should say, that you kind of have a tough deal with there? Because, and every promoter I've watched there, every one of them has a certain something they just can't get a grasp of there, that they're trying there.
Probably your number one thing right now as far as the series is trying to get the track to let you in. Last year we only had just 3 tracks, and this year we have, I think we have 10 tracks.
Wow.
And it's just getting your foot in the door and say, hey, I decided to run a series. I'm brand new. What do you think about this? And they're looking at you like, well, what the hell are you thinking? And why? And what makes you think you can put on a better show than I can? But they see how hard that if you just keep pushing as hard as you do and showing how much you care, these guys they'll let you in that door. It just you got to prove it to them. And it's a really, that's probably my hardest part is doing that. Then, probably I'd say making sure, second is probably making sure all your drivers are happy. You never make them all happy.
Oh,
there's always that bad call. And,
it is. You know what?
I tell you what, I've been a racer. I know it, and I'm sorry. I try everything I can do to make everybody happy, but it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, I hear that. You know what? I didn't realize that too as well. Bad calls. Nice to sit in the stands. Bad call. What bad call? And then he just barely bumped him. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But when you're up there in the press box there and listen to the scoring and then actually knowing what the rules are, like, holy shit, Dev, no, he needs to go to the back, what the hell,
Yeah, I've learned some things over the past couple of years, and you're always learning. Like if there's a problem here, I'll go, there's something I made. I haven't put in a rule. I better go put that in the rule.
Yeah, noted. Because of number 55 right there, number 55. Because of you, we've got a new rule, right?
And that's why you see like NASCAR has, 4 books of rules, because Just keep on and keep on and keep on.
We'll call those. We'll call them Darrens. Those Darrens out there right now. The Darrens, yes. I always make fun of our co-host Darren Ward there. Congratulations, Darren Ward. He had a new baby. But you know what, Darren Ward hit it good in that one time. You know, he talks about social media and the series and everything. He was saying that you know with any type of racing or any sport, there you got to have a social media account, and to make kind of successful, you got to kind of have a successful, a lot of followers, a social media account as Facebook, as Twitter, as Instagram, and so on.
Yeah, now we're pretty fortunate with that. I mean, to be honest with you, if I would have tried this series 2 years ago,
yes, I
don't think it'd be as successful as it is now. And, I've not only said this to other people, but that does racing, but I've told friends of mine, it's like, I have one friend that's got a real estate company. Like, hey man, you need to get your Facebook page. Well, why do I need that? And I said, just trust me on this.
Yeah.
And I said, you gotta just sit there, and I said, you gotta share the hell out of it. And you don't, and just, you think you ain't shared enough, keep sharing it.
Yes.
and I said, eventually you're going to get somebody's attention. And that's the whole game. You just got to play that game, is trying to get people's attention, because eventually it'll sit there and grab their attention. And that's why one great thing about this series is, with actually all three series, is the traveling around to different tracks, people will notice you more.
Yes.
And when you go to, like we went to Humboldt one night, you got guys that race there at Humboldt, and they tag you on Facebook and say, man, hey, what a great time. Well, that person's sitting that have 700 friends, and they seen it, and they're sharing it, and they're sharing it. So it's kind of a domino effect.
It is. It really is. You know what? And it's kind of weird, when people tag you and you don't know them.
Yeah.
That's the part where you're like, who's this? I don't know this person. And all of a sudden, like, oh, okay, wow. And you would be surprised how many people follow you on social media, and when they do that, it lets you know, okay, well, at that one moment, wow, something did come right out of that, when I was promoting there. So, hey, you know what? We got to go to another commercial here. We'll be right back. Okay, guys, we're live here on Dirty Tires Racing with Steve Slater. Yeah!
Great. I'm drugged down. Nobody's answering the phone. I don't even know where I am. What am I going to do now? 4G my...
Has this happened to you before, or has this happened to somebody that's in your family? Don't let this happen to you as you're driving through the White Mountains of Arizona. Need a tow? Call a pro. XL Towing, based out of Sholo, Arizona, servicing the entire White Mountains area. AAA service provider, heavy to light duty, full service tow and recovery specialist. Need a tow? Call a pro. XL Towing, 928-358-2580. Again, 928-358-2580. XLTowing.net. Services available 24/7, 365 days a year.
Kodo eyaha di bakagish keji nikit nini ashketa eyaha yego eyaha tho ni lini ekot au eyaha nihi nishkan lede titahui niho di shi de eyaha sahaot au eyaha nishna kwaddeshi di kodo nikitne eya olka betzil nini ekot au eyaha belajinazla di kodo belagana eya beshish au eya di hot au khaji hot au eya ate lago benasi eya kodo nishiza diki khashin zago bol ago eya kot au nishiza difa ado indeta di khaji eya di asa tate oha nenigi betado senigi Akot eya den di nahadengo epat hiza tatita ado indita binnachi eya di kwaji esrigo dan esrigo eya koto eskaki sijin kit nini eya as koto sitan hikhe ole ashin lago patashish.
In your face, all over the place. We're online. You're listening to the hottest internet station.
Welcome to Dirty Tires Racing with that whole Rambo box field. Derek, Rody, Rodin.
Yeah, we're back here on Dirty Tires Racing on Steel Savage Radio, the Navajo Rambo Bobby Steel, and we got Stevie Slater, aka Steve. What's going on, Steve?
Hey.
So, man, we were talking a little earlier here, and we're talking about having that right-hand man there and everything like that. I'm glad it got Robbie Reckless on this side here. I'm sure you got a right-hand man on your side there.
You know, to be honest with you, I've got several.
Nice. That's always good, man. That's always good.
My wife is one of them, and my boy. And then I've got a couple of the drivers got their wives out there helping me as well. So it's really nice to have all the help that we have. And, every now and then I have a few of my other buddies will come in here and pitch in. So at the end of the day, it's when you got people helping you, it makes you appreciate it.
Definitely. Again, we got Robbie Reckless, we got Ishri, we got Matt O'Gean out there, we got Lisa Porche. Lisa Porche runs our heavy metal side there, has several Facebook groups there, over 100,000 members there. Holy cow. And it's like, what did you say? It's kind of like a cow, kind of like pissing on a flat cow patty. What did you say?
Flat rock.
Something like that, man. It's more happier than a fly in a shoe house, or happier than a fly in an outhouse. Some shit like that, right? Is that the one? I don't know. Well, what's up with these guys? What you guys' sayings back that way, man? Because that's what I was wondering too. Because there's a lot of is that Native American sayings or Native American sayings from the internet?
I don't know what it is.
My famous Native American saying is that, let's go Google it. That's what I do.
I grew up with my grandma going, Ewins. Ewins coming over?
Ewins. Well, my favorite thing that grandma would say that I would understand is say, bingo. I'd be like, yeah, that's what I like. So, you know what? So coming up here now, with the Tom series, can you explain what Tom's is right now? Because I know people are kind of wondering. I got some messages saying, what is Tom's?
Well, your Tom series is basically like your USRA modifieds. And it's actually going to be sanctioned through USRA. It's just, we'll just have our own series, but it's going to be a sanctioned USRA modified is what it is. They're a lot more advanced than the limited modifieds. Your limited modifieds get kind of a little bit more. Well, it's a 2-barrel motor, and it's not really that much going in the motor. And then you got your rear ends are not. Your suspension is not as great as like your A-mods. Your A-mods is a hell lot more advanced suspension, a hell lot more engine than your limited modifieds. And so that's kind of the basic, deal on that.
What does Tom stand for?
Touring Outlaw Modified Series.
Okay, Touring Outlaw Modified Series. Great. And then you also have the Sooner, which is
The limited modified series.
Limited modified series. Okay, super.
Uh-huh.
And then you get the Western Outlaw Pure Stock.
Western Outlaw Pure Stock series. And they're just your regular old, basically stock car.
Is it like a stock car, a.k.a. street stock type of deal?
A little less than street stock. Well, we say street stock over here. It's probably a hell lot different than street stock over there. You know.
I know. That's one thing that I didn't realize too. I thought everything was the same, but yeah, everything is different. Especially when you're talking about every track too.
Yeah, their suspension's not that great. They got asphalt pull off tires. You know, you can groove the tires.
But man, to me, I'm telling you right now. Besides sprint cars, the street stock cars are the most exciting to me, man. I mean, that class has, man. I mean, for some reason, that class to me is my favorite, man. Now, how can you convert Bobby Steele over here to the modified stuff, man?
You really can't convert those cars. Is that what you're asking?
No, convert me to be a modified fan here.
well, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I like the full body cars. No, I'm not going to lie to you about that. But I like the limited mods because they're a little bit more challenge to drive. I went from a street stock to a limited, and my street stock was a lot better handling car. Then I had a lot bigger tire than the limited car, and you jump in that one, and it's your whole different driving style. Then you go to the A mods, and it's a whole different another driving style. Now
the A mods, those are some bad boys there, man. Those are some fast cars. You know what? Every time I see a car take an A mod car come out of the turn, I think the whole frame's gonna fall off, man. Or when they're turning, it looks like the rear tires kind of get sucked up underneath the frame. It looks weird.
Oh yeah, they got those suspension just really tricked out, and it's pretty far advanced. And it's pretty cool hearing them where they sometimes you can go to these racetracks and they don't even lift.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
They'll set the brake and hammer down on it and never even lift, and it's pretty wild, but it's amazing the control these guys have.
I bet, man. Wow. Now, everybody wants to know this one here. When is Stevie Slater going to get into the sprint car business there in Oklahoma?
There is way too many sprint cars series around here.
Is there really? Like, you remember?
Oh yeah.
You're talking to the Southwest here right now. Where our main series are the NMMRA and the ASCS Southwest and the Power 305 series. That's the main. Those are only the three series that are out here that I know of right now. If I'm missing one, please send me a message here right now. Tell me you are a dumb Navajo Rambo. Because right now, that's the only three we have out here. I mean, out here, I think that if we could get a little bit more sprint cars, there'd be a lot more fans too as well. I hate to say that, but that's what it's come down to. Because the sprint cars, they do bring out the crowd. So if we could get more sprint cars out this way, it would be great. Or if we get maybe you could come out this way over here, bring them 45 cars there, and bring them out this way to New Mexico here. Some of the drivers there. I know we could probably put on some show here, with Oklahoma versus New Mexico here. I'm pretty sure everybody's down for that there. But as far as the series goes here, hold on one second, guys. I'm sorry, I got you on my phone there. So, with that said, there, what advice would you give? Let's say a track promoter in New Mexico to bring up the car count. Let's say for the modifieds here right now, because you know what I mean. Oklahoma, it seems like you got it going pretty good there with these series. Got 3 here right now.
Yeah, as far as promoters, it goes back to just pushing hard as you can and letting people know you're out there. That's your main deal, and make sure that you. I've been in both sides. I've been in the racer. I've been in the promoter now, and the number one thing I always look at is everybody goes, "Oh, what's how much is it to win? How much is it to win?"
Yes.
I understand that. I get that. I don't look at it that. I look as how much it is to start.
How much to start?
Because I know how much it costs for that guy to get in this car to go over and go to the racetrack, and they can make their money back, buy them a tank of gas or a hamburger on the way home after they just race. They're gonna be happy.
For sure. Well, I did get called dumbass here. Darren called me dumbass here. He said you forgot about USAC Southwest. I did. USAC Southwest and Santan Ford Desert Sprint Series. I forgot to as well. All 360 non-wing sprint cars. I apologize. You guys could throw water balloons at me and eggs next time you guys see me. So, but yeah. So I'm sorry. Go ahead, Steve, again.
Yeah, I mean, just as long as you make the drivers happy, and you know, one thing I always try to do is try to thank the driver when they come in the gate. Either they come in the gate, I thank them, or they're leaving the gate, I thank them. Sometime in between then, I'm thanking them for being there.
That goes a long way just to even acknowledge them, because you know what? That's one thing that you know, becoming, you know, when I'm a fan, you know. And back in the days where we're talking about, you know, the meet and greet and stuff like that, you know, I remember back in the days where everybody was back at the pits. Everybody partied in the back of the pits there, you know. I mean, it was just literally a big party, a big fiesta all the time in Albuquerque there at Speedway Park and Duke City Raceway. Everybody would go back there, you know, have a great time and then leave, you know. But nowadays, you know, it seems like, you know, as soon as the race is done, by the time you get back to the pits, there's only maybe like 5 or 6 cars left. Everybody has jetted out there and left, you know. It's like, where did everybody go? What happened, you know? I didn't realize that all that has changed. When did that change, I should say?
You know, it's kind of really according what tracks you go to. Because there's one track we went to, they had a little bar. And you can go out there and hang out, have a good time at the races. And, of course, you know, I went to one track last weekend. They put on one hell of a show, a great track. But they threw the checkered flag to put some kind of depressing song on. And as soon as that song was over, the lights went out.
Oh, shit.
I was like, holy crap.
Oh, man. But is there a rule now that says that you got to be out of the track by certain times now? Because it seems like as soon as I wanted to see what happened with that, because before I started the radio thing here, you know, I zoomed back there to the tracks there, and it seems like everybody was just in a hurry just to leave right away as fast as they can. And they all parked outside where everybody gets their checks at, but they were already ready to go, you know. As soon as I got a check, bam, they were gone there. Now, why is that now?
You know, I don't really know. You got a few that'll hang out and drink a few cold ones, and you
was there a situation that happened, let's say, between let's say 1999 and 2010? Did anything happen somewhere? Or because I want to know, seriously. Hey, you guys, you know, if you guys are listening out there right now still, all you, oh shit, all you, we got 2,800 people listening right now. All you 2,800 people listening right now, give me a message here. Send us something here to let us know. Was there a situation? What happened? What happened to, you know, drivers hanging out with the fans back there in the area there? Because, you know, I remember, like I said, back in the days there, that's what people did. Now it's like you hurry up and leave, you get out of there. So,
you know, it's funny though, because we had one race that we had. I'm trying to remember. I believe it was the first race of the year. We had the Spring Nationals, and we had at the end of the night we were going to have a pit party, and we was going to go have a cookout and all kinds of stuff, and just have a good old time. And there was probably about 4 of the drivers still stood around, and everybody else left. And I was like, "Whoa!"
Yeah, it's weird. I guess maybe it's just because they just need to get home right away now, or maybe because this was my what I was thinking is, but back in the days, remember back in the 80s, 90s when it used to be when closing time used to be 2 o'clock, right? Well, New Mexico used to be 2 o'clock, and then now they changed to midnight. So I'm wondering if they trying to get that extra beer right away. You know, if they make it back, they make it back. If they don't, they don't. But at least they got the beer.
Well, I really just think it's just the nature of everybody now. Is everybody's in a hurry.
man. Well, yeah, you know what? I could agree with that. You know, I'm in a hurry all the time now because I always tell people now, you know, I wish it would be 25/8 now. Ever since this whole thing happened now.
You go to the grocery store, and what are you going to do? I mean, you're going to go over there and try to find the quickest way to get out of there.
Yes.
You know, it's just, I mean, I'll be honest with you. I grew up in a small town. When I I can tell you right now, back in the early 80s, late 80s, early 80s, and up to the early 90s, you've seen people where they're sitting there BSing, and it's like, well, I guess I better get going, go over and finally check out.
Yeah. You know what? That brings up a good point here. You know, I before I would hit Boone there, I stopped over in a small place called Klein's Corner, right outside of New Mexico, right there, right in New Mexico, but like on the outskirts there. And I couldn't do nothing. I was getting calls where you got to do this, you got to do this. I was like, well, I will once I get to Boone there. I will when I get to Boone there. And then I was like, well, I'm not at Boone yet. I'm not at Boone, Indiana yet. Boone, Iowa yet. I was like, when I get there, I'll do that. And so I'm getting overwhelmed. Finally, I got so frustrated. I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna turn off my phone off. So I went inside. I figured, you know what? I think I need a big greasy meal. I deserve it, even though I had one about 2 hours before. I deserve another greasy meal. So I went there, got me some chicken fried steak, French fries, and eggs runny. Yes, eggs runny. And this guy sitting next to me, he was like, hey, you need a charger? I was like, no, I don't. He goes, well, your phone's off. I was like, no, I turned it off. I go, they can wait. I was like, they can wait, I can't do anything until I get to the track. And he goes, oh, okay, cool, And then me and him started talking. We talked for 2 hours. I didn't talk nothing about the station, nothing about racing. We talked about barbecue and fishing. And, I think that's the realest talk that I've had in the last 2 years here since, doing the radio thing here now, And at that moment, I thought, wow, all my life here, all of that stuff I took for granted until now. It took me all this long to realize that. And I was like, man, that's, as you're talking about time, slowed down right there at that moment for those 2 hours there, But now we got to get back to the burner again, And that's when
it's funny that you mentioned that because, my wife and I and our family, we like to go ride four-wheelers. And we'll go up in the mountains. We'll go around trail rides and stuff like that. Well, I have a lot of people, they'll try to blow right by you, 90 to nothing. And, of course, we're just idling around, looking around, just having a good old time. My wife and I are sitting there talking, and it's like, hey, look at that, look at this. And everybody goes, well, it took you so long. I said, listen, I'm over here wide open all the time, all day long, every day. This is called a vacation. Enjoy it.
For sure.
And probably the best thing is when we're out there, electronics don't work.
Yeah.
So you have to pay attention. You got to pay attention to everybody, and you got to have that in your life every now and then.
You definitely do. And you know what? And it's taken me more time to realize it. And I think that's I'll admit it right now. When we first started the station, that first one there, with my co-host at the time, the lovely DJ Deb, aka Lady Venom Radio there. I kind of pushed to the limits there because, for me, my attitude, I'm a very, very emotional person there. So I was like, yeah, let's go, let's do it. Push it. And then she was like, no, wait. So we were like, tug of war there, and finally I realized that until everything, until we switched there. And then with Robbie Reckless there, I was telling him, we got to kind of do like this here, as much as I want to push it. And then Robbie was like, push it. I'm like, no. So, so now I was like, oh, man, hold on. Let's hold off. So, but yeah, all of that, now it's coming into play. Definitely understand that. Hey, guys, we go another commercial. One more commercial. We'll be back here. We'll be wrapping up here, and then we'll go ahead and let Stevie go off on all the things that are going to be happening here in the 2019 season, and plus maybe some racing drone action. Does Bobby Steele try to relocate to Oklahoma? We shall see. Coming right up next, right after this commercial break. Yeah!
Baker Auto and Diesel, 1351 Motel Drive, Milan, New Mexico. Again, only 2 inches to the left from Grants, New Mexico. 505-287-8622. Again, the number is 505-287-8622, where they provide heavy-duty service with hometown care. Baker Auto and Diesel.
I'm so excited. This is a new era for Dennett Racing, huh?
So serious all the time about your big race team. Who cares?
This is my life. This is my life.
You know what? There's only one good thing about coming to these races, and that is the vibrations from the cars. Oh, I love when them cars whiz by. Oh, feel the motor running up my legs.
Come join the latest new craze, dirt track racing in the Southwest and Four Corners area. Come out and support your local dirt track racing scene.
There's only one radio show playing the best of music.
And you're listening
to it.
We are Steel Savage Radio. We are Steel Savage Radio.
Cut it.
We are now ready to take off.
Have you ever wondered how sad it is that your son's only sexual outlet is tossing off to magazines in the bathroom?
Oh, Gary! Ma, I never tossed off to anything. You told me you were combing your hair. I was.
Gary, shut up.
I've never the water's running all day.
I've never shut up.
Anything. I've never tossed off. Shut up. I've never tossed off.
Shut up! We toss it off anytime, morning time to dark 30 time. Steel Savage Radio, tossing it off into your eardrums.
Number 1 for today's hits and all-time favorites.
All right, guys, you're back live here on Steel Savage Radio with the Navajo Rambo Bobby Steele, and we got Mr. Stevie Slater, a.k.a. Steve. Steve, what's going on, brother?
Hey.
All right, brother. Hey, you know what? I didn't realize how long we've been chatting here, man. It seems like we were just chatting like 10 minutes ago, man.
Yeah, you start talking about racing, I'll talk for hours.
Yeah, I think that's what always happens, you know. I mean, many times me and Darren Ward, you know, we talked, past his bedtime, which is about 7 o'clock, and we talked about maybe like 7:30, man. He got in trouble, so yeah. So, just kidding, Darren. So, Steve, you know, you got some big plans coming up here right now. You got some big shows coming up here right now. I'll let you take it over here right now. What's happening for the rest of the season, and take us into the 2019 season here.
Well, this weekend we got the Elk City coming up. We got 3 more races left. The top 10 in the points is really tight, and it's going to be. I would say the next 3 races are going to be one hell of a last run, you know, for the end of the year. We like I said, Elk City's this weekend. Then we go up to Salina High Banks on the 29th of September. We're going to be going against
the. Off real quick here. Let us know where the city and state, please. Remember, we got a lot of people listening all over the place. Actually, you know what? Let's give a shout out to Australia. Australia right now is our number 2 listener besides Oklahoma. You see, Oklahoma is number 1 right now, but Australia is number 2.
Wow. So yeah, Elk City's over here in Elk City, Oklahoma. Then we go to Salina High Banks, and that is in Pryor, Oklahoma. And that is, like I said, is September 29th. Then we have a little break in between. And then we're going to go to, I said Pryor, Oklahoma, but it's around Salina, Oklahoma as well. But then we go October 13th. We're going to go head up to VAC, which is our first race of the year we had, was Red Dirt Speedway, and that's in Meeker, Oklahoma. And that's a really special event. If you can't make these next 2 races, I highly, highly recommend everybody going to Meeker, to Red Dirt. That's the Mark Robinson Memorial Race. Mark Robinson was one of the guys that raced there forever, and he ended up getting sick and passed away a few years ago. This is the 5th annual Mark Robinson Memorial Race, so a lot of family involved that race there still, and I got something special for one of the family members that I'm going to give them that night. And like I said, it's going to be a really good show, and that's something that if you can't, like I say, you can't make these next 2 races, make sure you make this one.
Wow, man! Is there a little bit behind that there?
As far as Mark Robinson,
yeah.
Well, he raced the this class before. He didn't race the series, but he did race this class, and I believe he bought a new car. Then right after he bought the car, he passed away.
Oh man!
And his brother still races every now and then, and his niece has her husband races. Matter of fact, one of our sponsors has a car that his niece or her husband actually races it. So it's all kind of a big family deal around there in the Meeker area. A lot of people know him, and actually one of my announcers, Larry Carr, knew him very well. So it's kind of an emotional deal for a lot of guys, and usually we have a pretty good car count for something like this.
Wow, man, that's pretty deep there, man. I mean, that just goes back to show you that with this whole dirt track racing thing, how everybody, when it comes down to it at the end of the day, everybody's still family, everybody still races, everybody still, has that roots of, getting up and then working on the car and then taking it out to the track.
Yeah, most definitely. I remember 3 years ago, before I started the series, we had over 65 drivers just racing this class alone.
Wow.
And, normal nights were 20 to 25 cars on normal nights. So you just tripled your car count just for this race, because they want to be for the Mark Robinson Memorial Race. And so this year right now is the first year, as far as the Sooner Limited Modified Series, this is the first year for them to be involved with this Mark Robinson Memorial. And I got to thank Cody Brewer or at Red Dirt for letting us be involved with this, because this is a really special race.
Man, that's I hate to hear stuff like that, but man, it goes to a good cause when something's going like this. I mean, it just brings everybody back together. I think for one night, for those 2 or 3 hours, everybody at that one moment, forget about the problems, forget about this and that. They're all thinking about let's put on a good show. Let's take it back to the days when when money was not an issue, when technology was not an issue. Let's just get some racing done.
Yeah, most definitely. And just so everybody know, that's $750 to win and $100 to start. Got to thank Hudelberg Chevrolet for putting up a little bit of sponsor money for that one. That way we can bump up our pay a little bit from the top and bump it up a little bit from the bottom as well. And it'll be a really special show. It'll be our last points night for 2018, and I think it's going to go out with a bang.
Yeah, I think that I will too, man. I mean, with something like that. I just want to give a quick shout out to the family of Caleb Hammond there. Is it Caleb Heyman? Or is it Hammond? I keep saying it wrong. Caleb Hammond? We did a video, me and Robbie, we did a little YouTube video for him there. Hopefully, they get to watch that there. If you guys haven't, please go to Steel Savage Radio on YouTube. Go check it out. It's a very emotional video. It took me 2 days just to complete it. Between me and Robbie, we kept breaking down, trying to get that going, but we just saw the casket the other day, man. So I was like, whew, talk about, hard seeing that there, but, he did what he needed to do, I mean, I think that short time there, I don't think a lot of people have ever been in a race car and been able to go down that checkered flag area like he did. So,
yeah.
So, big shout out to his family and everything like that there. So, whoo, got me emotional here. So, what else is coming here? 2019, what's up with that there?
Well, right now, 2019 is still early, but we got some big ideas. Just trying to see what we can do to get it to happen. And I like to obviously, keep on getting more tracks and try to get some more tracks involved with the new series that we got going with the Tom's North and with the Western Outlaw Pure Stock series. Want to make sure we get them a few races. I like to get about, probably 16 or so races for the Tom's series, and I like to get about 10 races for the Pure Stocks, and probably 18 to 20 of this with the limited modifieds. Or we might just go back down to 16 or so with the limited modifieds. I try to put a little break in between for everybody. That way they're not running back to back to back. Obviously these next 3 weeks were back to back, but most of the races we race 1 week and we're off for a couple of weeks and we'll race another. That way you're just not going every hardcore every week.
Because coming up here right now, that you got Halloween, we got Thanksgiving. I mean, a lot of big holidays are coming up here. Do you think about that sometimes, as far as like scheduling goes? Around certain holidays.
There's a lot of things you schedule around. I don't like schedule. I've learned that last year. I don't like scheduling around the 4th of July. I don't like scheduling around Memorial Day weekend or Labor Day weekend. Those weekends that's a no.
I've learned that. Everyone's gonna be on the bottom, still train there, drinking some beer, be in the lake, and maybe do some noodling at Oklahoma, right? Noodling.
Right. Now, another thing you got to think about is what we brought up earlier is college football.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah, and you got to schedule around that.
Yeah.
Then you got to, and of course, there's also the NASCAR races down here in Texas. You got to schedule around. So there's always these things you got to think about.
Well,
of course, I don't like overlapping with, I don't like having our big races and guy down the road 2 hours away is having a big race too. I don't want to, I don't want to run that on top of somebody. And we try to work. I try to work with them best I can. That way, I'm not doing that.
I didn't realize how much of a track killer that can be. To me, honestly, I think, if tracks do that, I think it's just out of spite sometimes, because I hate to see that, I mean, why try to go up against a track we know that's going to kick your ass when try to do that? I mean, I hate to see that. I've seen it in other places many times there. It's like, why? I mean, is it because of pride or is it because of this? Because you're eventually going to lose,
one thing I have not figured out is, like, if you got a guy already scheduled a race to run a certain race, why would you want to schedule a race with the same cars, same time, after they already announced they're going to do it?
But they're 10 times bigger, though,
But the thing is you're not hurting that person, you're hurting both of you. And instead of having 40 guys that night, you're going to have 15 guys that night. It's just. I do it out of respect. I try not to do that.
Now, let me ask you this here right now, because that brings up a big deal here. So, with these promoters over this, is it more of a dick measuring contest because of that? Because seriously, man, because I mean, why would you want to schedule a race against another track with another track there when the track has not been stable yet? Is it just because of beer talk, or is it because of hey, you know what? Because I'm so and so, I can do that, or
that's one thing. It's ever since I've been around racing, that's the way it's always been. I have not figured it out.
Well, I guess that's just the pride, though. I mean, there's a lot of pride.
We are one state. We're one state of Oklahoma. If you guys would work together and make a deal where, hey, let's have this series over here this weekend, the next weekend have this series, and or just have, really don't even have a series, just have Oklahoma championship.
Now, how cool would it be? State versus state. How cool would that be? State versus state, right? Instead of the IMCA, USRA in one state there, why don't we have like New Mexico versus California, Oklahoma versus Texas, Oklahoma versus New York, and then the state pays for the traveling expenses. How cool would that be?
Well, that'd be great.
You know, make it like the football, like NFL. You know, I mean, I think that would be a good deal because instead of having the Bloods and the Crips versus each other in one state, what about the Crips versus the Crips from state? Right?
But I do want to call out Texas on this one.
Okay.
We had a race in Texas, and about 4 days before the races, they canceled us.
Oh, damn.
And I said, what's going on? And they said, well, they don't want to pay the $25 draw fee. And I was like, well, so they're paying a little better, and you get a little bit more money, and you have us Oklahoma guys going against you Texas guys. And then we still had another race later on that summer, and they did it again to me. So I'm going to call them Texas guys out and say that they're scared of us.
Hey, Texas, I guess things ain't bigger in Texas. Or, I mean, they're a little bit slower in Texas there against Oklahoma. Maybe they're afraid of the rain downpour there because, like I said, the Oklahoma rain ain't no joke.
So, that's one thing that I do have in mind that I would love to do. We always have, OU versus Texas, and I would like to have one of our series go against Texas.
You guys heard it, Texas there. Texas, we got a lot of listeners in Texas right now. You guys make it happen. Let's do it. And I would love to be. I would love to be there. I'd love to watch that. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, we have a Red River shootout. I think it'd be best.
Well,
we've been to Kansas.
Goddamn Kansas, man. Kansas. That's a crazy place. At least I made it out. I can say that. At least I made it out. But you know what? Eventually, I will make Boone. I will make Boone one day. So I'll probably fly in this time. And knowing my luck, if I fly in, somebody's going to hijack it, man. So I don't know. I probably should say it on the air, but.
Yeah, just saying, come through Oklahoma and ride with us on the way up there or something.
Yeah, I think I need to find. Yeah, definitely hide in the back somewhere there. So, but
I got Dartina windows.
Well, yeah, when you roll in the window, you look like it would be Andy Griffin, right?
Yeah.
Andy Griffin driving. Yeah, okay, go on ahead. So we have a drone here, Mr. Greg Broom here. This is incredible footage with the racing drone here, man. We're going to try to get that to you guys next year, 2019. Hopefully we can go ahead and do that there.
Oh, yeah, I've been really excited about that. I did watch your broadcast down there, in New Mexico. And, no, it wasn't New Mexico. It was Colorado, right?
Colorado, yeah. Cortez, Colorado there for the last race of the year there. We kind of that was our experiment there. We kind of put everything at one time there and just we had to see what would happen, A lot of great things happened, a lot of stuff that we knew that would happen happened. And in the heat of the moment, when everything happens, when you try to, get your balls up there, we couldn't do it at that certain moment, at a certain time, for certain areas, Other areas were like, holy cow, I didn't expect that. And we were like that there. So we learned so much for that time there. So come to 2019, yes. That's going to be a big time there for Dirty Tires Racing and high aerial imaging with Greg Broom there. So we're going to be making some noise here, man. I think it's going to be pretty good here. We just need some more, we need actually a little bit more sponsorship here right now because you know what? These drones ain't cheap there. Every battery costs maybe like $35, like maybe $400, depending on what you want to do. Some of the chase footage there, the battery, will drain fast. Maybe like, I say a $30 battery would drain like in a minute. You get a $400 battery that will last maybe 8 laps a track there. And there's really nothing we could actually do about that. I mean, we looked at solar, everything Avenue we've looked at. It comes down to batteries.
Yeah.
And that's the part about it, And the thing what Greg does is he builds it from floor up, everything he does here right now. I mean, we're kind of running into a little bit of financial hardship here right now, but we're still looking for sponsors out there right now. But how cool would it be to have a company's name right there on these drones that are Greg that can fly around 140 to 160 miles an hour?
Yeah, I think that'd be awesome.
Yeah, definitely would be. So Mr. Stevie here, any last words here for everybody out there down in racing land, podcast land, all across the earth?
Well, like I said back earlier, it's like you got to remember what we're all here for. We're all here to have fun, and I want to do everything I can to make that fun, and just so y'all hang in there and watch out because we got probably all kinds of excitement coming up.
Hell yeah, man. Oklahoma. Okay, so now we're talking about the stock car series, those pure stocks, man. You know, there's a lot of stock cars here in New Mexico, man. I think it'd be pretty cool to come down here, man. That would be good.
I'm going to try everything I can to get something out there.
I say ghoul because, ghoulish, Halloween. Instead of cool, ghoul, yeah.
Right.
So, you know what? Coming up here next week here, guys, Utah, Price, Utah, Desert Thunder Raceway, September 28th, 29th, and 30th there. We have a big show coming up that way there. Make sure you guys take a look on Dirty Tires Racing or go to Desert Thunder Raceway Connections. Take a look at that there. It should be a good time. 3 days of racing there. I'm guessing maybe a 200 car count. I mean, it's going to be a big show. It's their last race of the season, but they're making up a race for it too as well. So there's going to be racing. I believe on Friday it's going to be 7 p.m. And then Saturday at 11 a.m. and then 7 p.m. and then Sunday at 11 a.m. there. So, but within that time there'll be entertainment. You know, a lot of stuff going on there. Make sure you guys go over there, check it out. It's going to be huge. I believe the national point race is coming down to this over here for the IMCA. So, you know how big that is, right there, Steve?
Real big.
Big time there. So, sponsors here. We got to thank the boys who pay the bills here, man.
Yeah. I want to thank everybody that comes along with this. And, you know, we've grown quite a bit, and without those people, we wouldn't be where we are now. Knockout Graphics, FP Designs, Donco Plumbing, Smiley's Racing Products, Hoosier Racing Tire, High Tech Tactical. Speaking of High Tech Tactical, if anybody wants a raffle ticket, we are selling them. You can buy your Savage 270. You can October 27th. We're going to give one away right before hunting season.
Oh yeah, and you hear the name Savage, like Steel Savage Radio, baby, yeah.
So total custom carbon dyno, bulletproof products, 41 shocks, Ibex Motorsports, Images ×2, Schoenfield headers, quick rescue roof, KR Performance Fuels, Steve's Auto Machine, Hudeberg Chevrolet, and Chevrolet Performance.
Man, Chevrolet, man, you done went to big time right there.
Yeah, we're pretty excited about having them on board. They're going to have some, actually, I'm picking up this Friday. I want to pick up some coupons for anybody who wants to buy a crate engine. And I'll have a coupon for $250 off, but actually on top of that, the first 10 customers are going to be getting a discount on top of the $250.
And where can they go to get all this information out there?
They can go to my Facebook page on Heartland Dirt Racing Management, Tom's North, Sooner Limited Modified Series, or Western Outlaw Pure Stock Series. And if you, like I said, you want to buy a raffle ticket or whatever, just contact me through either one of those Facebook pages. I'm working on a new website for the Heartland Dirt Racing Management. Right now, we just have the Sooner Limited Modified Series. That's off of My Race Pass. And what we're going to do is, that's kind of our plans for 2019, is making one united website where it'll actually have all of our series on it. But yeah, just contact me through there or contact me through Facebook, Stevie Slater, and I can get you whatever you need.
Awesome. Hell yeah. Okay, cool. You know what, Steve? I appreciate you being on the show, brother. Hell yeah. I'm pretty sure this is not the last time you're going to be on here. We're going to be talking many times here right now. I guess you got a little show that you guys do too as well. I should say little. A huge show that you guys have as well.
Yeah, Dirt Track Racing Network. We have a show. The guy's actually out of New York, and Richie White. We were going to have a show tomorrow, but there's some things that came up, and unfortunately we can't have our show tomorrow night, but hopefully we'll have one again in the near future.
Why don't you host a show here on Still Savage Radio? You can use our airwaves, and you guys can host a show there.
Well, that sounds like a great idea.
We'll talk about it here, guys. We don't want that show to go away. We want the fans out there in Oklahoma to hear your show, too.
So, yeah, that'd be great because we had, I believe, 4,000 people listening to us last week.
Nice. So let's go ahead and let's talk about that there. So we'll see if tomorrow night we'll be on the what's the show called again?
Well, we actually had on Heartland Dirt Racing Management last weekend. That was a new show that we just fired up.
Okay, cool. Well, maybe tomorrow night we'll have that too as well, man. We'll talk about it here, and we don't want to let our dirt track racing fans out there, especially in Oklahoma, because they need some more information too as well here.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I appreciate everything we can get.
Heck yeah, guys. And any other last words there?
I just want to all the fans, all the drivers, all the crew chiefs, or all the crew members, and all the car owners, and all the track promoters. Thank you very much for all of your support, and thank you also, Bobby, for having us on tonight.
Heck yeah. Anything for the racing scene, yeah, we got to do it, man. We got to do it. And you know what? I can tell you right now, this has the second longest interview that we've had that seemed only like 10 minutes here. Still, number one is going to be always Derek Rody Roden, who took us to 3 hours of interview there. So we still got a long way from that there.
If I didn't have to be up 3 a.m, I'd probably be all over that. I'll try to break a record.
Yeah, our host there, Derek there, he always told me, he was like, man, I'm so nervous though. I don't talk. I'm not a talker. So when he got on the air there, next know we're at 3 hours and he was still talking. So yeah, 3 hours is still that's the limit to beat there. Well, actually, not the limit. That's the thing to beat there. But right now, we're only at an hour and 50 minutes, man. So, yeah.
Well, like I try to explain to everybody, when you get on a radio show, it's
so quick.
When you're talking about racing, all you do is grab you a beer, and it's like sitting like with your buddies, drink a beer, and bullshit. Because that's what you're doing.
Exactly. It's all it is, man. And you know what? It's the same stories. It's the same times, same feel. But it never gets tired. I mean, we all love this year. That's the reason why we talk about it all the time. That's the reason why we put on a radio show like this, I mean, it's good information, but at the same time, it's like sitting around a campfire.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, it's all we talk about all the time. Sometimes.
I'm broadcast loud and proud from the motherfucking clouds. Steel Savage Radio, SSR, baby. Let's party on!
You're listening to the station Lost the Nation. Steve Savage Radio.
Thank you everybody for joining us here on Steel Savage Radio. The show is now over. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Again, the show is over. Here on Steel Savage Radio. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Now get your ass on out of here. We'll see you guys again the next show.
Hot air hangs like a dead man from a white oak tree. People sitting on porches thinking how things used to be. Dark night, it's a dark night. Dark night, it's a dark night.
Thank you everybody for joining us here on Steel Savage Radio. The show is now over. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Again, the show is over. Here on Steel Savage Radio. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Now get your ass on out of here. We'll see you guys again the next show.
A new boy fell for a local girl when she made eyes at him. She was young and pretty, no stranger to other men. But windows were being locked that night, and old lines drawn again. I thought these things didn't matter anymore. I thought all
you everybody for joining us here on Steel Savage Radio. The show is now over. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Again, the show is over here on Steel Savage Radio. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Now get your ass on out of here. We'll see you guys again the next show.
I hear you held us so close. He asked about her dreams. When a bullet from a passing car made the youngest scream. I thought these things didn't happen anymore. I thought all that blood had been shed long ago. Dark night, it's a dark night. Dark night, it's a dark night.
Thank you everybody for joining us here on Steel Savage Radio. The show is now over. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Again, the show is over here on Steel Savage Radio. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Now get your ass on out of here. We'll see you guys again the next show.